Once you've popped your hood, you want to release the safety catch from the hook on the hood. And so you have to find a little lever underneath the hood here that you're going to push up or push to the side to release the safety catch. If you can't find it just by feeling around underneath here, you can look down and look for it. And you're gonna push it up or to the side, and it releases the safety catch on the hook attached to the hood, and you can raise the hood up. Then you're going to take your hood prop and stick it in the hole with the arrow to prop the hood up and hold it to be safe to work underneath the car. All right, now that we've got our hood open, we're gonna learn about all the important parts underneath our hood. I don't want you to be scared or overwhelmed. I know there seems to be like a lot of parts and hoses and wires, but we are going to be confident about learning what the parts are that you need to know about, what you can touch and what you can't touch, how you check all your fluids, and even how you add oil and coolant to your engine and your coolant bottle reservoirs. So I always like to start at your brake fluid. It's very important to know that your brake fluid is right here behind the steering wheel of the car, underneath the hood. And on every gas-powered engine, this is where the brake fluid is located. So every single car, this is where it will be located on your car. And you can tell it's gonna have a little brake symbol on the top of the reservoir here on the cap. There is a level here for max and min on the side of the reservoir that's gonna show you the level of the brake fluid. If it's low, it's an indication that you need brakes or that something's going on with your brake system. Again, do not touch your brake fluid, take it into your PCT if you notice that it's low. Brake fluid is usually like a white wine color, Chardonnay. So if it's getting dirty and needs to be flushed, it's a really dark brown color. You want to flush your brake fluid about every 3 to 5 years as a rule of thumb. But we also learned that your owner's manual in your maintenance section is going to tell you when to switch out and flush your brake fluid. Let's move down next to the fuse box. It usually has a cover on it that you can just take off, put to the side. It explains to you where some of the fuses and what are some of the parts on the car that the fuses go to. It's very easy to replace a fuse if you need to, and you can look that up in your owner's manual or look up a video on YouTube that shows you how easy it is to just pluck one out and stick one back in for your fuse. The next thing under your hood that's important to point out is your air filter. And this is your air filter box. And this is gonna be in different locations under the hood. In order to find it, you're looking for this accordion type hose right here. You see this piece that makes it look like an accordion? One side of it's going into the engine, the other side is coming back to the air filter box. That's how you know where your air filter is. Now, I want you to imagine that your car has boogies. You know that you have nose hairs that filter out all of the dust and the pollutants and dirt and particles in the air, right? It's the same thing for the filter in your car. Your engine needs air to set on the fuel on fire. And it gets air from the outside atmosphere, and that is filled with bugs and pollutants and dirt. So you need to filter that air. You don't want it to go into the engine. So this filter kind of acts like your nose hairs. Well, it blocks all of that dirt and particles from going into the engine. But when this gets clogged, it's like having boogies. And that means just like when you're trying to breathe, when you have boogies, your lungs have to work a lot harder to get that air in. It's the same thing for the engine. When your air filter is clogged and it has boogies, your engine has to work a lot harder to breathe that air in, which means you're going to be using more gas. And that is why we want to get our air filters replaced about once every 2 years, or 15 to 30,000 miles on your car. It's pretty easy to check your air filter yourself. You don't require any tools, maybe a screwdriver on some makes and models of cars, but this one just has several clips that you remove. You can pull off the top, and out comes the air filter. And this one actually looks pretty good. It looks pretty brand new. She probably has another year left on this. There is some dirt and particles in here that you can just brush away, but this is a good air filter. So you replace it in the same direction that it came out. Pop the top back on, pop the clips back in, and that was very simple. It took me less than 2 minutes to do that. So you can save some money on changing your air filter if you want to do it yourself. All right. Next is the battery, and this is in a different location too on certain cars. You can find it on the left side of the car or on the right side of the car. And some cars even have their batteries in the back seat. They'll have some posts like the positive and the negative in the front of the car, but the battery is actually located in the back seat. And so the things that you need to know about the battery is the two terminals, the plus and the minus, which we talked about. And the plus is the red or the positive or the power side of the battery. And the black is the negative or the ground side of the battery. Just like your AA batteries in your remote that have a plus and a minus. Same thing for your car battery. And we're gonna learn how to jump start a car and using these terminals to help get the car running. All right, the big thing underneath your hood here is the engine, and just want to look, this whole space in the middle here is your engine. Just clump all this stuff together. I know we see a lot of hoses and wires. Don't worry about them. The most important thing about the engine, which is usually right here in the center of the car, is your oil filler cap where we put oil into the engine, and your dipstick. Remember, it's got like an orange or a yellow, bright orange top to your dipstick. This is how you check your oil. Okay, now that we're on the right side of the car, we're going to start with the power steering fluid and the power steering reservoir. It often has a marking on the side of the reservoir to tell you if it's full or low. So just come and use your eyes and look to see at the power steering fluid level. If it doesn't have a marking on the side of the reservoir, open the cap, and it usually has a dipstick in there that will measure the level of the fluid, just like your oil does. Power steering fluid is typically pink or reddish color when it's brand new, and when it breaks down, it gets really dirty brown. So you want to flush this about every 3 to 5 years. That's the rule of thumb. Or again, check the maintenance schedule in your owner's manual, which will tell you exactly when to flush your power steering fluid. This reservoir is located in different locations under different cars. So you want to look for the red cap or some type of symbol on it that tells you it's the power steering fluid. The most self-explanatory fluid underneath your hood is the windshield washer fluid. Pretty simple and easy to check and fill up. Most of the time we don't even check it. You just run it on your turn signal. If no water comes out, you come in here and you dump a bunch of washer fluid in until it spills out. At least that's how we do it at the repair center. So you're looking for this symbol here of like a sprig of water on a windshield. And you just pull it up and fill it with windshield washer fluid when it's needed. Washer fluid's usually blue, but they're making them in all types of colors now. So make sure you read the label on the bottle when you're pouring it in and that you're actually using washer fluid. Don't make your own homemade stuff. You're not supposed to use soap in here. That will mess up your washer fluid pump and motor. This container is your coolant bottle reservoir, which holds coolant that goes into your engine and your radiator. This is something that you can touch, and it is attached to the radiator cap. Radiators are always located in the front of the car here, underneath the hood. So you don't want to touch the radiator cap because it's pressurized and very hot coolant can come out and burn you and injure you very severely. So the one thing you want to touch is your coolant bottle reservoir. If you're low on coolant and it needs to be added, this is where you place it in. So the bottle, again, will have markings on the side that tells you if it's full or low or if it's at the max or min. Just using your eyes, you want to check it to see where it's at. You can even open it up. Pull it out, look inside the bottle. If it's bone dry, there's no coolant in here, add some coolant. If you have green coolant, put in green coolant. If you have orange coolant, put in orange. If you have pink, you put in pink. Remember, coolant is a neon color, so it's very easy to see.